International diplomacy traditionally relies on highly calibrated strategic language. During a conflict, global leaders use precise terminology to signal intent without triggering an uncontrollable chain of escalation. The current U.S. president has abandoned this tradition, opting instead for erratic social media ultimatums directed at the Iranian government. These threats are specific and extreme. The president has explicitly promised a power plant day and a bridge day, using heavy profanity to demand the opening of the Strait of Hormuz and warning that Iran will be turned into hell. This rhetoric has shocked global observers and the U.S. media. The language used in these official statements carries the tone of a street thug rather than a commander-in-chief. These statements represent more than a change in tone. They are a public declaration of intent by a global superpower to target and destroy the infrastructure of a civilian population. To turn such an extreme military vision into reality, an administration requires the total compliance of the military command structure. Top-tier U.S. military leaders are currently facing an unprecedented purge. Four-star generals who have questioned the strategic logic of this war are being abruptly fired or forced into retirement. This purge is being driven by a new ideological framing. U.S. War Minister Pete Hegseth has begun describing the conflict as a crusade, telling soldiers they are fighting for Jesus Christ. This religious framing is creating massive internal friction within the U.S. armed forces. The military is composed of Hindus, Sikhs, Muslims, and atheists, many of whom are now being told that their service is merely a tool for a specific religious crusade. Accountability for these dismissals is non-existent. During a recent congressional hearing, the administration provided no strategic reason for firing these generals, stating only that they serve at the president's pleasure. By removing these four-star generals, the administration is stripping away the final institutional guardrails that prevent the military from being used in a chaotic, religiously driven conflict. The tactical reality behind the threat of a power plant day is a campaign of carpet bombing, using massive area saturation strikes to destroy vital national infrastructure. Destroying these targets creates a humanitarian disaster. Without bridges, food supplies cannot reach cities, and without a power grid, hospitals lose the ability to care for the sick and injured. The Geneva Convention strictly classifies targeting civilian infrastructure as a war crime. To bypass this, the U.S. administration employs the dual-use loophole. They argue that if Iranian military forces might use these bridges or grids, the structures lose protected status and become legal military targets. This legal maneuvering provides a bureaucratic pathway for the administration to justify strikes that effectively starve and freeze a civilian population. There is no consistent strategy behind these moves. The president recently claimed the Strait of Hormuz was irrelevant to U.S. interests because of American oil reserves, only to threaten total war days later if the strait isn't kept open. The administration appears surprised by the war's length and is now citing the multi-year timelines of the world wars as a baseline. They are settling into a campaign of attrition that seeks to replicate the total urban destruction seen in Gaza. India's External Affairs Minister, Dr. S. Jaishankar, recently noted that in this changing global order, everything today is being weaponized. This philosophy is replacing the old framework of international rules. Nations are now overtly attacking civilian vulnerabilities as a primary tactic of war. The international system is being governed by the logic that might is right. A superpower can now publicly target civilian populations, purge its own dissenting experts, and rewrite the rules of war in real time without facing consequence.